All right, what's going on, y'all? I am Swavor, and this is Opinionated Facts. And today we're going to be talking about the one and only Cam Newton. He went on to the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast not too long ago, and he was talking about some things concerning women, and particularly the difference between what he feels is a real woman and a boss chick and a bad chick. So today we're going to talk about some things that he said. In particular, he feels that a real woman should know how to cook, how to be quiet, and how to let a man lead. And he also said a few things about the bad chick and the boss chick and how he feels that they don't mix. So today we're going to be talking about it with the Opinionated Facts panel. So I have with me today, starting with the ladies, Corsica. So say hi to the people.
Hi.
Mrs. CC and Journey to be Great is her business.
Hello, people.
We have Marquita.
Hello, everyone.
And we have my guy, Elliot.
Hey, what's going on?
So this is what we're going to do today. We just want to get everybody's opinion about the interview itself. Like, when you heard him say the things that he said, how did you feel about it? And we'll start with Corsi.
Well, when I heard about the whole situation, it was actually Breakfast Club. And so it's already kind of was presented to me in a certain way, But when I heard it, I had the reaction I think that a lot of people had because I didn't hear the whole thing at first. So I was just like, what? But then after doing some more research, I'm still kind of like, what? But I understand more of what he was saying now after having heard the whole thing in its entirety. But at first, it caught me off guard, and I'm just like, nah.
Okay, so what about you, CC? Where were you with it?
When I initially heard it, I wasn't offended by it. I see where I saw where he was coming from, and I agreed with it because I didn't feel like he had any ill will about women when I heard it. So it didn't offend me.
Okay, so what about you, Marquita or Elliot, whichever one you guys want to go first? Well, Marquita, we'll go with Marquita.
Okay. I didn't take offense to it at all. In all honesty, I just thought he was just pretty much repeating what, he heard other females kind of label themselves and just giving, just a brief statement on how he felt about it. But I didn't take, any offense to it. I think people are so stuck in these gender roles sometimes, they kind of lose their way, but I didn't have any offense towards his comments.
Okay. What about you, E? What you got?
When I first, heard the clip, I think it was probably I heard like the first 30 seconds, and when I heard it, I was like, yeah, they finna get on, bro. But when I actually listened to more of what he said, I think that I got to what he was saying. I just think that the examples that he might have was using might have I think he might have used like quote unquote some trigger words to some folks. And I think a lot of times when you hit that word, those words, like, oh, stay in the kitchen, all that stuff, whatever like that, you know what I mean? It'll, folks will just focus on that, and then it just whatever else you said, they just, don't hear all that. So I think that, and plus another thing, I didn't take it as him trying to be that way just because, at the end of the day, he's a football player and stuff like that. He's not a person doing a podcast, or he's not, a person, dealing with communication. I say that because, yes, he's a smart person, but anytime you're not, dealing with communication or you're doing stuff like that, you're not going to be able to necessarily articulate yourself completely the way you might would like sometimes. So I didn't think that he was trying to be malice or anything like that, have malice or anything like that.
Well,
Actually,
go ahead. Go ahead. No,
I was gonna say actually I don't know if you knew this or not already, Corey, but I didn't know, but he actually does have a podcast.
He does.
Yeah,
And
I just found that out actually. But it's like Funky Fridays or something like that. So he actually does have a podcast. I didn't know until like recently, like talking about like yesterday, that he has a podcast. So, but yeah.
Well,
So CC, were you about to say something about that?
Yeah, just in reference to Funky Fridays, he actually did something yesterday. Well, I seen it on YouTube, but he just made posted a statement about his comments and the backlash that he received.
Well, you know what? Let's go back to let's kind of piece together what he said, because we just not playing the clip here. So basically, what he said was that he grew up, and of course, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but this is what I got from it. He grew up in a 3-parent household where he had his mother, his father, and his grandmother. And he said that his father gave him a good, I guess, understanding or teach what a man is supposed to be. His mother showed him what a woman is supposed to be. And I guess his grandmother was also, I guess, that extra example of what a woman should be. So he tried to separate what he felt. He said that I guess what he saw at home was not a boss chick or you know what I'm saying, I guess what did he say? What is the word he used? Boss chick and bad chick. Yeah, but he said the other words. But boss chick, bad chick. You know what I'm saying? That's what he said. But what I'm saying is, I think he's separating the two. And what he said was the bad chick and the boss chick are the women that want the image, and maybe they want the the accolades or whatever for looking good and all this other stuff, but they're not really what he considers to be a real woman, because they don't, what he said, quote, cook, know when to be quiet, and know how to let a man lead. So the controversy is coming from, I guess, a lot of women are saying, why can't you be both? Or some were saying that, and then some were saying his thoughts about women are outdated. But so I want to get more into that part. Do you feel, I mean, anybody can come in with this. Do you feel like you have to trade one for the other? Or you know what I'm saying?
Well, that's the part that when you asked about, what our initial thoughts were, or whatever, that's the part that I was more so speaking to as well, was like about that. Like, that was the part, I guess, that if I had to say anything offended me, that's what I would say. Was, the you don't know how to cook, you don't know how to cook, and because my whole thing was, as soon as I hear somebody say something about cooking and women, it's like, why is that associated with women? So that was my thing or whatever. So that was the part that offended me. I wasn't really bothered by, and I understood what he was saying, but you know what I'm saying, it was just like Elliot was saying, I think it was just the way in which he said it, the words that he chose, because in my mind, like you were saying, like, why can't you be both? Like, why can't you know how to cook or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And or maybe not. Why do you have to know how to cook as a woman to be a boss or whatever, or to be quote unquote bad? Like, why does he even think of it that way? So I think maybe I'm thinking that's what most people were offended by, if anything.
Anybody else want to chime in on that before I say what I think?
In regards to like, as far as the whole real woman bad chick type thing, because like I said, I was able to listen to the interview in its entirety, and he did mention about there are some real bad chicks out here that are able to do all those things. And basically what he was just saying, in a nutshell, like, other than your looks and your body, what else can you bring to the table? And I think, as far as like cooking, cleaning, allowing a man to lead, we're just like examples, like, just something in general, like, what else can you do other than that? Because quite a few women feel that because they're beautiful and they have these manufactured bodies, a lot of them do, that a man is supposed to cater to them, give them all their money, even though they're this boss chick. And he was like, basically, like, what else do you have to offer? Because he was referring to like a more, and yeah, some may say his values are outdated, but he was referring to what he saw. What I'm saying, as far as he's probably saw his dad taking care of the household, and his mom, his, as far as providing financially, making sure they had everything, and his mom taking care of the house, as far as cooking, cleaning, things like that. Where you talk about modern day women, he probably didn't see his mom cussing his daddy out. Right. And clapping her hands in his face and stuff like that. So I just think he was, basically, it's a difference now how relationships are. compared to how he grew up.
That's a very good point. Anyone else before I chime in? Okay. Well, here's what I think. I think there's levels to it, man. I think that he could request whatever it is that he's requesting. I guess if it was his opinion of the type of woman that he wants, or go out to find whatever it is he's looking for because of his level. Now, one thing I did look at too was when he said that, again, if you are a young woman that works at Walmart or somewhere like that, not to degrade Walmart, but somewhere like that, and you're calling yourself a boss chick, you really have to define what that means. Or if you're calling yourself, a bad chick, okay, yeah, maybe you got it looking good or whatever. But like Cece just said, you're in a different world. And if you're following these women that are millionaires, that are boss chicks, and they really define what that is in a certain way, then, you know what I'm saying, you have to be careful. Because maybe it's probably gonna be bad, but Brittany, what's her name? Brittany Renner, maybe she has that kind of pizzazz that can kind of persuade these guys and this and the third, which I think she's a thief and some other things, but I'm not gonna go into that. But I'm just gonna say that, the thing is just like, you gotta take the time to think, where are you? And then when these people are that you watch are, have all these things they want to say about defining this, that, and the third, I think like what Cece said, her dad and mom are probably regular working class people. And her dad probably was the breadwinner. So I think that even back then you were kind of raised to be a certain way. And I think now, like you said about the modern woman, women have gotten more opportunities since back then, and they've been able to do so many things, which I think is great for women. But I do think that we need to, if you're going to ask for a traditional man, it's going to be some things about you that have to be traditional. You know what I'm saying? The same thing if you ask for a traditional woman, it's some things about you that has to be traditional. And some people attacked him about having all those kids. Just saying, hey, what kind of tradition is he in, and what kind of stuff does he have going on, and what is his real views of women if he's got all these kids and he's not with the mothers? So I mean, what do y'all look at when it comes to that?
I mean, are you taking care of your kids? So I mean, he's taking care of them. As far as the history with the women, I've never heard anything as far as what happened. I don't know the situation. Like I said, I don't know if it was maybe he wanted those values in those women and they didn't have them. I don't know. But as far as kids, that he also talked about that as well on the podcast about, building, starting these other companies and doing things outside of football so he can leave a legacy for his kids. Because he even mentioned one of his sons play basketball, and I think he was having some type of issue going on with his knees, maybe joint pain or something. But basically, was just saying that he let his son know that, you don't have to do this and, continue injuring yourself. And he was just saying when he was coming up, as far as, a teenager, whatever, he needed football. He needed that. And he was just saying now he's building a legacy so his son doesn't have to have that. He'll have something else waiting for him when he comes of age.
And you know what? That's really good to look at too. I don't think it's questioned that whether he's a good father or not. I'm agreeing with you. I saw those things too, and I think that's pretty cool. And I don't really see where, again, the situation with if I just have to be completely honest, I don't really see where he said anything that was really wrong. I think some people are very, like he said, and I think one of the videos he made in response to everyone, I think people are extremely sensitive.
Yeah.
I mean, even he said when he was talking about the boss chick and the stuff like that, he didn't even want to really use the word, the B word, because he was just trying to show respect.
Yeah.
So again, I don't know exactly where they get it from, and it's just really strange. But I do think that whatever you're looking for, it should be, you should say whatever it is you're looking for up front. And then it's like we have a problem here too with the definitions. Like, what exactly are these different things? What is a real woman? And that's so subjective. I mean, you can have so many different opinions about what that is. And a bad chick and a boss chick and all this and the third. And I think a lot of us get this stuff from what we see rather than really sitting down and asking ourselves, hey, is this really, what this is or what I think it is? Or could it be something else?
Right.
I think that one thing that also happened with that, why he probably caught more flack than usual, was even though he did have a moment where he was talking about men too. I don't know if he harped on the guy side as much too as well. I think that a lot of times there are guys that they don't really know how to be men like they used to too.
Man, that's gonna touch one right there, man.
But you know what? And I think to his defense and everything, and again, like I said, and that's the thing when it comes to media too, that really got this whole thing started, I feel like, because had the whole clip been played, you know what I'm saying, I don't think it would have, I don't think, I mean, I'm sure somebody would have been offended. Everybody's offended by something. So, but I don't think he would have gotten as much of an uproar as he did had they played the whole thing. Because like Elliot said, he did talk about men too. And he said that men need to be men. Like they need to like man up or whatever. I think he said suckers, something. He might have cursed. I can't remember, but he basically talked about men too. So it's not like he just. I mean, but he is a man, and he's not looking for a man. So he, he's talking about women or whatever. So, I think, and that's like I said, that's all you saw when I was looking more into it after we had our conversation last week, and we decided we were going to talk about this. When I looked more into it, all I saw was like just different ways of kind of just I don't want to say manipulate, but that's kind of what it was. When you look at the titles of videos and articles and stuff, that's the only thing you see. Like Cam Newton says women should stay in the kitchen, and it's like that man didn't even say that. He did not even say that. Now look, so but that's what gets views and clicks and stuff like that too. But so they took a little snippet of what he said and they kind of ran with it or whatever. But and I saw a little bit of the video where he came out with just kind of I guess kind of defending what he was saying, kind of further clarifying what he said or whatever. And like I said, I understand where he was coming from. I really do. So I just think it was probably the wording in some cases, because some people are a little bit more sensitive. And I think it was just that little bitty clip, and they took it and ran with it.
Right. I think more so than anything, he's guilty. He didn't provide enough context for people. And even if he did provide more context, it probably, like you said, it probably would have still been a thing. Because they took that little clip and they formed an entire narrative around it. And last week, Corsica, you mentioned how if you do get in trouble some kind of way, they're going to go back and pull up things you did in your past.
Yeah.
Okay, so they did the same thing with him. A 2017 press conference. A reporter was asking him something about the wide receiver and the routes the wide receiver was running. And they said that Cam laughed and said it's funny to hear a female talking about routes. So of course they used that as
Lord.
It's been proven he hates women and he thinks women are beneath him. But it was and again, me, I guess because I'm not overly sensitive, I didn't take it that way because again, football, of course, is a male-dominated sport. And you probably don't hear a lot of, even male reporters probably don't ask him about routes. So to hear this woman talking about routes, he probably, he probably didn't mean
funny, and he probably meant it. Again, wording. He probably meant. I mean, in my mind, he probably meant like it's dope, like it's cool, like it's different. That's probably what he meant.
A female questioning me about routes, it's something because he's not used to that. And like for instance, I like to wear wigs. So if a masculine man asks me my opinion on an HD lace front versus a transparent lace front.
I don't know what confused here. I don't know what's going on.
Now, wait a minute.
I don't know what's going on, bro.
Wait, listen, I don't know. I'm gonna be like, a lot about wigs. This is very interesting.
Hold on now.
I heard transparent. I was thinking it was see-through or something.
You know what I'm saying? Hey. I know that's right. I'm like, what? What is all these types of what? Man, you know that's some crazy stuff too. You know they got guys wearing that stuff now, but I ain't gonna get into that. I ain't gonna get into that.
Right.
Oh, for real, they got guys wearing like laying.
I've seen the videos. Yeah.
laying it
I've
down
seen
and
it.
everything, and taking clippers to it, and it looks really
Yes.
real. Like,
Oh, you know what? You know what? I ain't gonna get into that. That's a whole other situation. We probably need to go ahead and talk about that too. That's another point. But in the end, man, I guess I'm saying, I want to ask y'all this question here too, because this is really big. I want y'all to give me an example, and anybody can go with this, of, when is a good time, based upon what Cam said, when is a good time for a woman to be quiet? And when is a good time for her, any other times for her to speak? Women are basically the lifeblood of everything. So I'm not saying this to degrade any woman, because everyone that knows me know I have the most respect for women. But do you feel like there is a time when a woman should be quiet?
I mean, if you all have a disagreement, and of course you can read your man's body language that it's not, nothing is being resolved, and you constantly going in at them and yelling, and it's sometimes just hush.
Yeah.
Like I get that, because I've heard women like really just talk reckless to their man. So like that's not okay. And I'm not either way, it's not okay. But I've heard that before.
Okay, so what about the other ladies? How y'all feel? Like what y'all think about it? Is it a time to just be quiet?
Yeah, I guess with what CC said, I mean, just like with body language, just with tone, or they can just give you that look if you in each other's presence. I mean, us women knowing our men, we would know what kind of triggers. I mean, and even if it's new to us, like kind of dating, just like you said, off body language, like what like grinds their gears. Like we just use, like, you can kind of, some of us can tell in reference to it. So I agree with CC in reference to that.
Yeah, and I
Because
think,
some
and
don't
it's
know
not.
when to stop.
Sorry,
You said some women don't know.
No, you're fine. There's some don't know when to stop, like you said before, like with the clapping their hands, pointing their face and stuff like that. Like you antagonize them, just like the video that you sent when the at the football game when the lady was in the guy's face and she slapped him, and her husband jumped in and the dude just knocked his lights out. He went night. So she just so it's like you got to know when to stop, and she could tell from the black guy's body language. I know she was intimidated by him. I guess she felt as if she was secure because her husband was there. He wasn't doing
exactly
as
what
much.
It was.
So she was like, she had her lit juice going on. She had liquid courage in the system. And then when she slapped him, and all doors went to slamming and blinds with the flinker, and it went from there.
Hey,
so, yeah.
That's me thinking about Yvette. She kept on messing with him till he dropped.
Baby boy, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I think like they said as well, I think you your man, and just in general, like you want to be respectful too. So and you want to respect somebody's space, you want to respect their emotions and where they are and everything. So sometimes it's just a moment to like just kind of let things go, let it go for right now. Maybe you guys come back to it when you both have a cooler head. So I think that he probably was speaking to that when he says about the whole be quiet thing, because, and that's probably something else that people got offended by, because it doesn't sound that great when you say it, know when to be quiet, know when to shut up. I think he was more so speaking to like not being so like aggressive and in your face or whatever when it, and he's probably speaking from experience. He probably has dealt with someone who maybe wasn't respectful of his space or his his mood or whatever at that in a moment of disagreement, so. And unfortunately, I feel like as far as like Black women are concerned, I feel like we have a bad rep when it comes to that. as far as
Mhm.
being aggressive and in your face and all of that. And so I think that's what, because not all, obviously, not all of us are like that, so I think that's a really bad stereotype anyway. But I think that's what he was speaking to, basically.
So, so Ellie, this is on the other side for the guys. Do you think it's a time for men to be quiet? Because here's the thing. Some, it's I know where he was going with it, but I also want to bring this back to the guys as well. I think sometimes we need to learn too that, just because we're the quote head of household in some situations that, we supposed to be, have the last word. I think a lot of times too, men need to assess, is this argument something that I started? You know what I'm saying? Now I want her to be quiet when I'm the actual person that started the situation. And a lot of men do that too. They feel like they can do whatever they want to do. And that's a very what I'm saying, alpha male-ish way of thinking, like, hey, whatever I want to do is what's going to be done. And I think men need to also understand that too. Sometimes it's best for you to be quiet. Sometimes it's best for you to just sit back and don't say nothing. Just allow her to express herself and listen. What do you think about that, Elliot?
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think that, and I think it's sometimes like with guys, like, with your ego and stuff, especially like, you know, you might, I had to learn this too. I mean, I'm the type of person, like, I listen to your, your argument and stuff like that, but, you know, when you're going back and forth with somebody, and, they're making their point, and something they might say might really, might really dig at you, might really piss you off. So then you want to respond right then. But then that's not doing anything because, you cutting her off, you say something, she cutting you off, it's not doing nothing. And that does happen a lot of times, like, with women, they don't feel like they can't, get their point across because, the guys always cut them off and everything like that. So yeah, as a guy, you got to know, especially if you like, all right, I probably was in the wrong. You already know off rip. Or even if you weren't in the wrong, sometimes you got to let let your lady, get her point across. Let her get everything out.
I agree 1,000%, man. 1,000%. I'm gonna go to this. Unless everyone else has something else they want to say about that particular situation, about the what we just spoke on. Does anybody have anything about that? If not, I want to go to the next thing.
Well, as far as getting your point across,
Mm-hmm.
ladies, we sometimes have a tendency to talk in circles. So if we can just kind of be direct with it,
Yes.
Just kind of, whatever it is,
Yes,
just put it out
Lord.
there rather than, going around in a circle and how it may, just kind of whatever it is, just kind of get it out as short as possible, straight to the point.
Right. Well, they gonna write it down. But anyway, I ain't gonna get on that. But anyway, here's the thing. So we're gonna go to the next thing that he talked about, cooking. So for the ladies, I'll start with Marquita if she's ready. What about cooking?
Mhm.
Do you think it's necessary for? I mean, it's kind of silly to say it's necessary, but I mean, what's your look on? He said that Cam said that he felt that women should know how to cook. I mean, what do you think about that? Do you feel like that's something that women, so-called real women, should know how to do?
No, because I think that's that modern day mindset with a three-parent household. I think, well, if that's the case, I think every guy should know how to like change oil or change a tire. Some guys don't know how to do that or can't bring that to the table. So that was a bit much in reference to, oh, you should know how to do that, because it's some stuff that some people may think I know how to do and I don't. I don't know how to cook collard greens and dressing and things like that, but my husband does. So he does the cooking and I kind of, maintain, everything else, but I don't agree with that part.
Okay. What about the rest of the ladies here? I gotta come back to you on this one here, Elliot. They're gonna have us out here starving. I'm just playing. But go ahead.
Yeah.
Any other ladies want to respond to the so-called real woman knowing supposedly should know how to cook?
I mean, and I said this earlier, I don't really see how anyone, male or female, doesn't know how to cook, because you're literally reading. You
Yeah.
read and then you taste it. You know what I'm saying? Does it taste good to you? No. Add a little bit more Lowry's. All right. Bam. There you go.
Lowry.
So I
Yes.
just don't really see. I mean, that's, I'm not saying you should know. You should be a chef. Everybody should be a chef, but just in general, like, I don't see how anyone doesn't know how to cook technically. But whatever. I'm sure it's some type of way. I think that, I think just associating cooking with women, I just don't really think is necessarily fair, but I'm sure I do that as well when it comes to things. Just like I don't necessarily, what I'm saying, when I think of a man, I think, what his duties are around the house. And that's going off of, I think, what I saw growing up too. My dad cooks, mainly breakfast, but he'll cook here and there. He definitely barbecues. We have barbecue, that's daddy. But my dad's main things around the house to do is like out in the yard, making sure your car is straight, your car is washed and clean, got gas in it. That's more my dad's deal. My mom is very much in the kitchen and stuff like that. So I think that's just a gender role thing. But I think that men need to know how to cook too, because you're gonna be out here hungry, especially with some women that don't. I mean, it's not something that's important to some women, and therefore, in some men, I think it's not necessarily important to them too. I mean, maybe not all, but I'm sure there's some man out there that doesn't really care if his lady knows how to cook or not. Like, you know.
Okay. Anyone else?
Absolutely. Well, I completely 100% agree with Corsica. I think everybody should know how to cook. So, in some capacity, like you said, not be a chef, but so you won't go hungry,
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think that's just, that makes a real woman if she can cook. No, everybody should know how to cook.
Okay. So what about you? Well, I mean, this is a different situation for you. Do you feel like your lady, the real woman or the boss chick or whatever, should know how to cook?
Yeah, you have to know how to cook. But I say that because I know how to cook. When I think about cooking, I don't think of it as a man or a woman thing. It's a neutral thing. Like I just don't. But I'm the same thing. I'm the same way with like ironing, or the same thing with like washing and stuff. I wash my own clothes. I iron my own clothes. I can cook stuff myself or whatever. I think I think a lot of times people think of, oh, that's a quote unquote, a woman thing to do. Because say for instance, if she's like she's a stay-at-home mom or something like that. Well, if you're staying at home, of course you're not just gonna let the clothes pile up. You're gonna be like, oh, let me wash these clothes. Oh, let me go and fix some since I'm here and stuff like that or whatever. But when you really think about it, it's really not a man or woman thing. Like everybody needs to know how to cook. Like I'm gonna need you to know how to, boil an egg. Boil some water or something. I mean, you got some folks out here that they'll mess around. They'll burn water. Like so
Burning water.
yeah, burn water, man. I had some females like that. They you can't leave them alone in the kitchen. You tell them I got it. Don't even worry about it.
Well,
Just sit down.
I'm actually gonna side with Marquita. I like what she said. I think it's true. It's kind of hard to say, well, you're supposed to be doing this, you're supposed to be doing that. But I think everybody has some truth in what they just said that I actually feel we're kind of almost saying the same thing. I guess all of us were just looking at it from different perspectives and maybe our own experiences. But it is true. I think whatever works for your relationship is what you should do. If the man cooks, then hey, let the man cook. If the woman cooks, then let her cook. And if y'all take turns cooking, that's a good thing too. I mean, it shouldn't be like I guess all of us are saying, like, it shouldn't be a one-sided thing. If you want to survive, you got to do what you got to do to survive. And if you get with someone and they have a strength in something that maybe you don't have, either you guys can teach each other or something like that. But all in all, I think the cooking thing is a very, again, opinionated thing, a subjective thing, depending on the relationship. The last thing I want to talk about is what he said about letting a man lead. So, so for the ladies, like, how do you feel about letting a man lead?
I shouldn't have to let you lead. And I mean, you should be. I guess that's kind of weird to me. Like, I feel like a man that is a leader is going to lead. I don't know, that statement kind of confused me a little bit, but I think it kind of what I got from it, that statement mixed with the no, I want to be quiet statement. What I gathered from that was that, again, I feel like he's probably been with someone that was like super maybe independent and like super aggressive, to the point where it's like maybe it was a woman that was like on the tip of, I don't need a man, and therefore she acted accordingly. And I feel like from that is where maybe some of those statements came from, because I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like it shouldn't, maybe there was a power struggle, I guess. Like, I feel like maybe that was the issue, because I just don't see why it should even be said to let you lead. I guess I don't know. Like, you should be able to lead on your own. Like, I guess I just didn't really understand that. So that's the question I have back to that, is why do I have to let you lead? Like, just do it, like Nike, lead. Like,
Okay. Anyone else? Anyone else want to talk
I
about?
think for well, of course, letting a man lead, that brings about a trigger word for a lot of Black women, which is submission.
Oh yeah.
And and that really sets some stuff out when you say something about submitting. However, I get what you're saying. Like you mentioned, it's that power struggle, because we have the strong, independent Black woman. I don't need no man, but I want a man though. So, and then when you get one, it's hard to, I guess, kind of relinquish that control, as far as allowing him to, especially if you're in a relationship, because I feel with any relationship, you all discuss your goals, what you want in the future, and you work towards that. And if you have two people, I guess, fighting for that power, it's gonna cause some friction in a relationship. So, and I think that happens in a lot of cases where this strong, independent Black woman, you've been doing that for so long, and when you finally do get with someone, it's kind of hard to, I guess, trust their vision or their judgment in regards to whatever your future goals are. If hopefully you're planning future goals, but that's a whole nother thing right there.
Okay, so E, have you ever? This is again in reference to Cam Newton saying that a woman should know, a real woman should know how to let her man lead. So, and with E, saying with you being a guy, have you had any issues in that area, like where a woman becomes, kind of aggressive about basically leading herself and not wanting you to lead?
Yeah. I've had that problem with a couple. I mean, it's I'm trying to say it. Basically, yeah, obviously not gonna say no names or anything like that, but I can give you a example. Like, say for instance, I've had, maybe where you're going out with them and stuff like that, whatever. You might go out to eat with them, stuff like that, right? And it's like, you go inside the building or whatever. You me how I raised, you open the door for them and stuff like that, whatever. You try to do that. They say something about that or whatever. I don't need to know the door for me or whatever. You walk up. Hey, how many people got in your you got before you can get your word out. She's saying everything, stuff like that. Um, just and that's not the best example. Another one would be like, I've had women dealt with that are so independent that they would rather struggle or than ask for some help and stuff like that. Like, if I'm involved with you and stuff like that, and say you driving, you run out of gas or something or whatever, right? All right, rather getting out walking freaking 3-4 miles to go get some gas and stuff or whatever. I mean, you can just call me. I bring the gas to you. You know what I'm saying? That's the example what I give, as far as like letting the guy lead. Letting the guy help you out and stuff like that. Like, you can be too independent on your own to the point where you never want anybody to help you, and it makes people not want to offer help to you. And then when you actually really do need it, and now you feel away because, oh, well, you didn't offer me and you didn't do this. Well, when I do try to offer myself to you, or when I try to offer you this or offer you that or whatever, you always act like you got it, or so. But yeah.
Okay. I want to get I guess 2 more responses. We'll start with my guy Maine. What do you think about letting leading? Been in that situation. Same thing with Elliot. Have you had issues with a woman, I guess being compatible with you, or having some issues with her letting you lead? Is what I'm saying.
Yes, I have, but I don't. Me personally, men all the time, men not gonna be right all the time. Women are not gonna be right. Me, I think you should just find a balance. With leading, it don't always have to be like forceful or talking. Like, let me just set an example for you. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, some women, like he say, they too independent. Most women think they know it all. You see what I'm saying? Like, sometimes we can listen to each other and bounce our ideas or our thoughts off each other. And to be honest, we can lead together. Yeah, the man is the head, but now why not just lead together? And like, most people don't think like that. Like, I think it's more like the social media got people like brainwashed, when like, in our actuality, like, we really could come together and we both can lead. Like, we both could be one. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, even though the man's supposed to lead, I mean, most of the time he gonna make the final decision. But like, why not just talk it out first and then go from there? But like, most people they don't know how to do that. So like, that's where like the balance of the power struggle, that's where that come in at. So that's what I feel.
Okay, so I'm gonna give my own opinion, man, because I've been in this situation before myself. I mean, for myself, I haven't had that happen too often, but I think it does depend on the woman. I mean, you could be a leader, you could have a lot of things going, and sometimes she would have to either trust you enough, because some women may feel like, yeah, he's a good leader, but I don't necessarily feel like he's leading me. I think that's a big thing. Like, for example, you could be all about your business and do what you're supposed to do, but she may view herself as being separate from what you're doing. I mean, you kind of get that, like, yeah, he's doing him, but what's that doing for me? And I don't feel like we're together in his leadership. And also, some women, like the fella said, they so independent that they don't even want to trust the man to lead. It's like, I've been doing my own thing so long, and I done had a bad experience with such and such. So I mean, even if I do allow him to be my man and lead a little bit, because you got the partial leadership, like, I'll let him lead in this, but I won't let him lead in that. So I think it's just, again, a very subjective situation where it goes by how both people think, how they define leadership and stuff like that. But I do think we should probably have more conversations like that between men and women. But leading into the conclusion of this whole thing with Cam Newton, I want to say this. I think that he wasn't necessarily wrong. Maybe he said it in the wrong way. I just feel like maybe, again, some people are a little sensitive, but it's his opinion. If that's the type of woman that he wants or is looking to have, then I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. And if for the women that don't agree with what he said or don't like what he said, then hey, he may not be the type of man for you. But I think every man and woman should be open to be free to express how they feel and also pursue whatever it is that they like. Anyone else got anything about, I guess, on closing?
Well, me personally, I don't think what he said was wrong. Like you said, it was the words, like how he described it, like that people didn't like. But to be honest, like, he was saying some real stuff, like, in my opinion. But like, it ain't about, like, when people be like, shut up, like, they think you be like, you trying to treat them like a child. In all actuality, he's saying, like, just listen to me and let me see, is my way gonna work first. You see what I'm saying? Like, not saying your way is wrong, but like, just take my thoughts and just follow me and see how that would work first. Like, that's how I look at, like, what he was saying, because he said he grew up with his mama, his grandmother, and his father. I mean, like to me, like I think everybody would want that, cause Big Mama, like she's strong, and then you got your mother and you got your dad, so like he probably saw a lot of stuff like on how his mother probably treated his dad and how his dad probably treated his mama. So I feel like what he was saying, like I don't think he was wrong. I just think the way he said it was wrong.
That's clutch. That's clutch. Anyone else have anything they want to say about it?
I agree. And pretty much that I think after again, and like I said, I think it's a lesson on, just looking at things for yourself, forming your own opinions about things instead of just kind of running with what other people or how things are presented to you. Go and look into it for yourself because, like I said, when I first heard about it, it was on the radio, and they played just that one little part. They did not play, from what I can recall, they did not play the other side of it where he talked about men too. He didn't, really, expand too much on it because, obviously they're using that as a part of what they're reporting on. So they're not going to play you the whole thing. But had I heard the whole thing from the beginning, I don't think I would have been really offended at all. I would have fully understood where he was coming from. So I think that's the lesson here really is to kind of go and at the end of the day, I mean, that's what he thinks, that's his opinion, so you shouldn't scrutinize anybody for what they think and what they want.
Okay. How about anyone else?
Basically from this whole ordeal, what I took from it is basically what he said yesterday on Funky Friday when he made his response. You can't expect so much from a person and give so little. And that's just what I took from the entire situation.
That's clutch too. You got something you want to say? Marquita, y'all got anything y'all want to say?
Bouncing off what you just said, I mean that is so true. Like, because it just, and just from a guy's perspective, it does, seem like sometimes that, you expected to lead, but let her lead too and stuff like that. You expected to, speak up, but don't talk too much. You expected to, work. You expected to, provide and do all this, make money and all this stuff or whatever. But then you look at it, you like, well, dog, if I got to do all this, what are you bringing to the table? And I think me and Court, we've had this conversation before. It's always like, what do you bring to the table? And it's sometimes it just feels like some ladies, they'll feel like, oh well, I am the table and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But but that's how I feel about it.
That you know what, you're very, very correct with that because again, doing this research for as far as Cam Newton, the comments he made, I came across a video like that. It was something, I'm not sure exactly what the topic was. I guess it had something to do with relationships, but it was a lady came on there and the man asked her, he was like, well, because she was like, a man needs to pay all the bills. He needs to put her in a big house and just all this outlandish stuff she required from a man. And he asked her, he was like, well, what do you bring to the table? I'm coming to the table. That's what I bring. He should be glad I'm at the table. And I'm like, what?
Like, that's crazy.
That's crazy, man.
Ridiculous.
It's like you should be glad that I'm even allowing you to pay for my stuff,
Man, that's so crazy.
Pay for me.
Yes.
Like that's
To be in my presence.
right.
That nonsense.
But you know what though? Our and I don't want to say this and people take it the wrong way, but honestly, man, that's really how a lot of people are raised. I mean, if we just got to keep it real, that's how they're raised. I mean, some women, not all women, but some women are raised to believe that all they have to do is be pretty, and it's just kind of going back to what I was saying about the whole boss chick, bad chick thing. When you look on TV, you're looking at a Cardi B, a Megan Thee Stallion, you're looking at these people that are actually bosses and millionaires and got these made up bodies, and they can do what they do because of their situation. But then when you take a person that's not in their situation, they trying to emulate someone that's in worlds apart, then you got a misidentity, because that's not who you are. That's what you think you are or you want to be, but that's not you. So when you go and put those same standards, oh well, Moneybag bought his girl a Bugatti. I mean, hey, it's Moneybag. You know what I'm saying? He can do that, but why would you put the same kind of responsibility on an average man who's trying to, he's already going through hell anyway, and he's trying to provide for himself and you and the kids, and only thing you could think about is what Moneybag did for his woman, or what some Russell did for Sierra. These people are totally different worlds. So I do think that we have to keep in mind the reality of it. But again, every woman is not going to see it that way. And I want to make sure this is very clear. Women are so important. Without women, there would be no people. So at the end of the day, we cannot take that away from women. They're so important. They are so important. And a lot of us, when our fathers are gone, our mom is still there. So by no means am I saying anything to the great women, but what I am saying is that maybe the way that they're being taught and raised now is the reason why you have so much of this. I don't need a man really so deep in their head, or they're not really that serious about men, because it's been pushed. And men, we do have a certain responsibility to be right and treat our women right. And that has a little bit to do with why they're pushing away from us. We having some resistance with them, but at the same time, we need to get back to what it really means to be in a relationship. And that's to find some sort of middle ground and agreement with two people or three people or whatever they're into these days, or but the agreement between the people that are in this union, because that's what it's all about, man. Because we can argue all day, but usually an argument comes from a difference in understanding. So, I ain't gonna go too much into that, man, but I appreciate that. Someone else got something to say?
I think, is you willing to understand though? Because people just argue with no understanding. Like they just want to be right. I mean, like, it's a way about doing everything. So like if you gotta have talks. I mean, so when a bad day come, like you'll know your partner. You see what I'm saying? Like everything not always gonna be peaches and cream. So like if a person just, okay, it's gonna be my way or the highway, like you should know, like that's a red flag in my book. Like you already know, like this, she not for me. You see what I'm saying? So like I feel like you just gotta know who you're dealing with at the same time also. And like keep like most of your, personal information off Facebook, like off social media. And I think like that will most people, mess up at, like you said, like they look at artists and things like that instead of like looking at like, okay, I'm in this tax bracket. Like I'm trying. I can't buy you no house. I can't buy you a house now, but like one day maybe I could. Like you see what I'm saying? Or I can't buy you no $100,000 car. But like I can get you this, $3,000 car, and it's something. And I feel like something is better than nothing. And like most of the time, people they don't really look at it when people are trying. Like they skip all over the trying me. Like you see what I'm saying? And they just think it's supposed to be like all the way good. When in actuality, like I'm working to be great. So like that's what I think. Like people just gotta, sit down and understand. Like, let's try. Like long as we try, we would get somewhere. And most of the time it's gonna be good than bad. Like that's all I have to say.
That's sufficient, man. That's sufficient. But I guess we know what I'm saying, we don't get too far away from the situation with why we started this conversation in the first place. But I think Cam, he will recover from this. I think he's did a good job by just coming out and giving his side of the story. And I'm sure it'll be something else soon. But anyway, you guys, thank y'all so much for being a part of today's conversation. This is Opinionated Facts. I am Swavor, and until next time, peace.